Hey, y'all, are we live? We live? Are we live? I'm back again. Another episode, another review. Let me plug all my stuff in here. Now, I did another live review earlier today. I hope everybody caught that one. It was on the Love Is episode. And it was on because Love Is comes on again tonight. So what I did was I been on vacation. I've been down in the A and the ATL. So I did not do any reviews all last week, except for when I was down in the ATL, I did a quick little review of the Civil and Human Rights Center in Atlanta, which is something you definitely should look into visiting if you have yet to do that. But I'm back. I'm trying to whip these reviews out there. I'm trying to make up for lost time. I missed you guys. I hope you missed me too. And I'm going to try to do as many live reviews as I can before the weekend so I can catch up with everything from last week. So today we are going to do a review on the season 3, episode 8 of Queen Sugar. And the episode was called Come Clad in Peace. Now, previously on a prior episode, Charlie had brought to the attention to all her siblings that the Landrys, what they were really up to. She finally found out that what they basically been trying to do, because, the Landry's farm is surrounded, and so is Prosper's and some other Black farmers. Their property is surrounded by the Landrys. So they've been trying to figure out what is the Landrys up to and why do they keep trying to take back some of the land from the Black farmers. Now, before, Charlie had basically sold their farm for a certain percentage into the Landry stake so that she can get information on the Landrys to find out what they're up to. So now we come to, this episode where, again, they're showing how she explained to her siblings what the Landrys were up to. They're trying to get all the property because they're trying to help the government build a private jail. And that jail is going to end up on the Landrys foundation, Prospers, all their farms and plantations, and they ain't trying to have that. So they got to come up with a plan on how to stop that. Now, also, they were told that something was wrong with their soil, like it was contaminated. This episode, Nova, she does some research and digging herself, and she finds out that that was all most likely a lie, and there's probably nothing wrong with their soil. The Landrys is just telling people that so they could get a hold to all their property and then lease it out to the government. And this episode, basically, they're just trying to bring justice to the Black farmers and figure out a way to do that. Also, on Vi Tells Hollywood that she wants to pitch to Rollins, her boss, about opening up her own pie shop. And Charlie's son and his friends get into it with some prejudiced white people last episode. And they also want justice for what the plantation is doing by having tours and making money off of basically making fun of everything Black people went through on their plantation. So at the beginning of this episode, you see Charlie. She comes over Prosper house. She's like, why aren't you moving yet? He hasn't lifted a finger, hasn't moved a chair, packed a suitcase, a box, nothing. And so he tells her, you know what, I'll handle it. I'll get it done. And she's like, if you don't have anybody to help you, we can help you. And he says, you know what, I've been in this house all my life. This man has been in this house for over 40 years. And he's just being stubborn. He doesn't want to move. He doesn't understand why he has to move. And so Charlie promised him that she's going to make it right. And she's going to figure out how to have him be able to keep his house. Oops, sorry. 1 second. Drop my phone. And so she promised him that she's going to help him be able to keep his home. But in the meantime, she's going to help him get out of that house. So Nova, she's telling Charlie basically the truth about the EPA finding bad soil in the land. Ralph Angel tells Charlie and Nova that he's been meeting up with Darla to make a schedule for Blue, and Darla gives him some sisterly, and also, she's a lawyer, so gives him some good advice, saying, you know what, think with your mind, not with your heart, and everything will go perfectly. Micah, him and his crew is discussing how the white people are replicating the slavery days, and they agree that what they are doing is wrong. So they decide to make up a plan. And basically, the plantation is called Sweet Bay Plantation. And they just feel out there disrespecting their plantation. They're dressing up in costumes, using fake accents, and making fun of their ancestors and making money off of it. So they decide to really show them, what slaves really went through, and they're going to protest the Sweet Bay Plantation. Now, when they ask Micah, basically, what part is he going to do it? Is he going to be the lookout, or, what part is he going to play in the protest? And he has these flashbacks of when he was arrested, when the cop pulled a gun on him, when he put the gun in his mouth, made him wet his pants. Then they took him to jail. All this is coming back on him, and he kind of like has a thought for a second that maybe this is not something we should be doing, or maybe we should go a different route. But then he ends up saying, I'm in. Now, in other news, why Nova and Charlie is packing Prosper's belongings, Charlie asks Nova about the mystery man that Aunt Vi has been telling her about. Now, that Charlie, she has been liking, Nova has been liking Charlie's ex. Now, I don't know how really serious Charlie and him was, but I do know they have feelings for each other, spent a couple of nights together with each other, but kind of like, decided to fall back on it. And Charlie's telling her, no, it ain't nobody, I'm just spending a lot of time with my laptop, because, she's been working on her book a lot, and her book propositions. So Aunt Vi, her and her man, they were talking about, pitching to her boss Rollins her idea of owning her own pie shop. So you see, she's in there and she's practicing, and she's having a run with some of her employee co-worker friends, and they're telling her, good job, that pitch is great, go for it and everything. And she tells Charlie how he needed to move. But Prosper basically says that he can handle his own situation, and Vi tells him and his family, there's nothing wrong with asking for help, because she sees, Prosper is going through something right now. He's being stubborn. He's been on that property forever. He lost his wife. For some reason, I believe he lost his relationship with his daughter too, because every time somebody mentions, and it's usually Charlie, mentions about his daughter not helping, or not lending a hand, or not letting him come live with him, he always, has an excuse. So Vi, she offers to let him, give him some help, the family. We're basically telling him they're not going to leave him out to dry. And then we see how Darla, she shows up to Ralph Angel's place, and basically, last episode, she was telling him how they need to make some kind of concrete arrangements with Blue. Now, remember, he is not Blue's biological dad, so he, in my mind, should not be going so hard at Darla, because of the fact that she had a relationship with another man when they broke up, find out the child was not Ralph Angel's. So he's trying to haul Blue to himself, and trying to make all these demands, and trying to punish her for having a baby, that wasn't his. Now, instead of him leaving her and just trying to, spend a little time with Blue every now and then, stay in his life, which a lot of guys actually do in real life when they find out a child is not his, he basically just trying to punish her. And so she has him come over her house. She tries to show him, everything is in order. I have my own house. I have my own crib. I still got a job. I'm still not on drugs, because, she was dealing with drugs in the beginning of the whole show, and she finally overcame that. And so she's basically trying to, show him that she can, and she is responsible to take care of Blue and have him with her sometime. And so he's like, you know what? Well, yeah, it's all good. You got a job. You got a house. The house is furnished. Oh, Blue's room is immaculate. It looks beautiful. It's all decorated and painted. Her and Blue helped, work together to put his room together. And he feels a certain type of way. Like, okay, Blue's room at his house, it used to be Nova's. So there's a lot of handy downs, in the room. So he kind of feeling some type of way because I don't know if he thinks Darla trying to compete with him so that Blue could want to spend more time with her or not. But regardless, that's his mother, that's his bio mother, and he should kind of fall back, like I said before. Now, meanwhile, Charlie is at Prosper's home and telling him, his boxes are going to storage. If he needs anything else, her and her siblings can help, and Aunt Vi in Hollywood. And she then ask him again, what's up with your daughter? Why isn't she helping? Have you contacted her? And he's again, she has her own family, she has her own kids, she has her own life. I don't want to interfere with that. And she basically tells him, you know what? I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to go into details about that, but we are not going to leave you in this house. I'm not going to leave this house without you. And you can come stay with me and Micah. We have an extra room. We have a guest room set up real nice, and you can come there. He's like, no, I don't want to go. She's persistent, She puts her foot down just like her father would. And he tells her, you know what? You acting just like your father, really stubborn. And she's like, well, thank you. And I guess that's what she needs to be because Prosper is being stubborn himself. He has nowhere to go. I'm sure he don't have thousands and thousands of dollars saved up in the bank to just move all his stuff to another city, another town. Because the Landry, they already told Charlie that they were only going to give the black farmers $5,000 moving expenses, for their soil being bad or whatnot. And so Charlie, she brings Prosper to the house. Micah and his friends are there, and they're listening to rap music and everything. And I find it really cool how Prosper was like, you know what? Don't turn y'all stuff down. I know something about rap. I know about Biggie. I know about Pac. But, out of respect, and I love how Micah is so respectful. So country. And I wouldn't say technically country because I'm in the north, and there's some respectful kids here, but you know what I mean. Down there, it seems like it's just normal. So anyway, he basically, him and his friends, they leave the room, and leave Prosper with Charlie so they can get everything situated and set up. And Aunt Vi, she is set on proving to Rollins that she can handle her own pie shop. So she sets up a meeting with her boss, Rollins, who she works for, and she sells pies out of her shop. But since he wants half of all her, take in the pies, she ain't having that. So she's pitching to him an idea of, opening her own pie shop. But while she's there, and recall in another live that I did, I had said how I think Aunt Vi is lying about how sick she is. Remember when she was walking out the room when Hollywood and Blue was in the dining room and she was serving them some food, and she walked out the room and she was kind of leaning against the wall and kind of looking kind of faint. And she was like, oh, it's just these new meds that they got me on. I still think that she's not telling the absolute truth about her sickness, or either it has progressed or something and she hasn't told them. Because while she's trying to pitch her idea for the pie shop, she's getting sick. She's look like she's feeling lightheaded or dizzy or something is going on. And Rollins, offers to take her home, and she lets him take him home. And, excuse me. And so while at the house, he's asking her, are you okay? Is everything okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm going to be fine. And then finally, she lets him know how, what's really going on with her. I got this hair in my face. What's really going on with her. And she tells him that she has a chronic sickness, which is something I think she should have kept to herself. Because as you see after that, after she explains, I have a chronic illness, but I promise that I am going to do my best to make sure nothing interferes with our business. he immediately, you could just sense it, that he is like, you know, at first he was talking about how the investors, they're anxious, they need her to hurry up and, you know, give the offer and everything so they can, you know, finalize their situation, their business. And she's like, you know what, let me give you my pitch again, you know, feeling better, let me give you my pitch again on my ideas. And he's like, no, that's cool, it's cool, it's okay. You know what, you just sip on this soup and eat this soup that he had somebody make her, and take care of yourself and just worry about feeling better. And right there, I'm like, see, you shouldn't have told Rollins, because I think he's trying to back out, because he knows that if he gets into a finalized deal with her and she has a chronic illness and say she passes or something, he's gonna be stuck like Chuck. So he right there, and I think she senses it too, that he's you know, having having change of plans or change of heart. Now, Nova, Charlie ain't the only one doing her research. Nova's out there doing some research too. She's up there, you know, basically digging and trying to find some information to help her and her siblings help Charlie. And she comes along some information that is telling her that Rose, who has been dealing with Charlie, basically probably lied, because she says he's working for the EPA, so she thinks there's nothing wrong with the soil. So Nova, she goes back to Charlie and lets Charlie know. And Nova's like, you know, do you want me to look into something else? Do you want me to contact some people? And she's like, nope, I don't need you to do anything. Stay out of it. I don't want you to implicate yourself by saying or do anything that'll come back at you. So instead, Nova does what she does the best. She goes out there and she's getting her incense. I don't know what she's doing, having a seance. I don't know what she's doing. She goes into the farm, puts her stuff down in one of the rows in the field, and she starts lighting. It looks like incense, or I don't know what it is. And then I guess maybe she's praying, medicating, I don't know, but that's what she does best. So Nova's like, okay, you don't need my help, I'll help you in another place. And Ralph Angel, excuse me, I caught a little cold when I was in Atlanta, but Ralph Angel and Darla, back to them. She's really upset that, you know, he is trying to only let her have him every so many weekends. She wants 50-50. He don't think she should have him 50-50. So he's telling, you know, Nova of the situation and everything. And Nova's like, you know what? You shouldn't be trying to compete with her, because he tells her about how that room looks way better than the room that Blue is in now. And Nova's like, you know, this is my room. This used to be my room. There's nothing wrong with my room. And she said, and besides, a child don't need all that fancy stuff. Kids don't need brand new bedroom sets for you to prove that you love them. Yeah, it's nice. It's something they can have and enjoy and even maybe brag about to their friends. But how many people do you know that had hand-me-down furniture? You might have yourself. And back then, you didn't think that you were poor. You didn't think that your parents didn't care about you, because you might have went over your friend's house and they had big, huge bunk beds and ceiling fans and big Barbie doll houses or whatever, you know, car tracks in the bedroom. You didn't feel underloved. So that's what she's trying to, you know, tell Ralph Angel while he's sitting there in his feelings and getting drunk, worried about what she got at her house. And so after she tells him that, you know, basically she's like, you know, you're already working so much. You got 2 jobs. You working at the docks. You running the farm. You trying to help your family. You dealing with Blue and Darla and everything else. She's like, I don't want you to work yourself into the ground, because that's basically what Dad did. And she said, and it almost killed him. And he's like, huh? What you mean? It almost killed him. And she goes on to tell him, you know, how he had got depressed. Everything was on his shoulders after their mother passed. He had got super depressed, and he had went out into the fields, from what Prosper told her, and went out in the fields with a gun. And he was going to end it all. He just thought it would be better. Maybe, you know, the kids would be better. Maybe everything would be better. I think he just wanted to just take all the pain away, because he had already lost his wife. Nova was down there Ralph Angel was down there, but excuse me, Charlie, she was off somewhere else, and the Landrys, dealing with that and knowing he couldn't, take care of the land and would have to give the land up. So I'm glad he didn't, kill himself. I'm glad when he did pass away, the children knew everything that was going on and they were able to step in and try to save the farmer's land. Now, so she gives him some kind of insurance, just try to do what you can. Don't overwork yourself and use us. Lean on us for support. And just try to do what Dad did. Use the other farmers as a collective and everything will work out fine. And while they're discussing that, Charlie, she's at home with Prosper. She finds him, asleep in the lazy boy, which is his favorite chair at his house. She wakes him up and kind of nudges him, come upstairs, come to your bedroom. She wants him to feel as comfortable as possible. And so she's not going to let him sleep in that chair, even though that's probably something he always did at his own house. And it might have been something he always did because his wife had passed and he felt comfortable in that chair versus in the bedroom since his wife wasn't there to sleep with him. So she lets him, wakes him up and, walks him off to the bedroom. Back at the docks, now we have Ralph Angel, and remember the Vietnamese lady that he had went on a date with. Her name is Tran, and she works at the docks. She's his boss's daughter. He goes to the docks to pick up his check, and she immediately like, oh, I had fun at your aunt's party. I learned some new dance moves. You better tell Blue he better watch out because next time I'm gonna get with him, on the dance floor. And he acting all standoffish, like, well, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. And then he just tells her, I think I'm going to try to, figure some things out. I got some things to figure out here because I'm going through some things right now. And immediately, I guess she's thinking, okay, this guy been to my house. I've been to his house. I guess she thought they was going to move forward and start dating each other. But Ralph Angel is going through some stuff, and I'm glad he manned up and he told her what she's going through. But he also, when you see him come back, he's like, you know what? I'm going to try to move this slow. He's basically trying to comfort her and let her know that, things might not be working out right now, but I'm feeling you. I'm liking you. And he said, I'm just going to figure it out. When she asked what was wrong, he was like, I'm just going to try to figure it out. And then she says, well, my mom said that you wanted some extra shifts. And he's like, no. I'm not going to work any extra shifts. I'm cool with what I got right now. And he says, and basically that shows right there that he was actually listening to Nova because he turned down the extra shifts. And he goes on to tell her how Vi wants to take Blue to see the sculptures and stuff. And she's like, oh, that sounds really fun. He grabs her hands and they sitting there together, both in thought. And right there at that moment, I have the feeling that he is going to ask her, even though he didn't, but I think he's going to ask her, to go on a date with him so they can take Blue and Vi to see the sculptures. So this episode, we learned a lot. We learned about what their dad went through, how he had got depressed. We didn't know that before. We just thought he was coming down on hard times. Money wasn't right, and he had to let the farm go. We also learned how Rose then was lying. The EPA, there's nothing wrong with the soil that they've been telling all the black farmers, trying to get their land back. We also know that Vi, I think her sickness is worse than what she's letting off. And she's either scared to tell her family or, something about their family that I like. They're all very strong. Like a lot of Southern people, especially farmers, they're all very strong. They done went through a lot. They done seen a lot. Their ancestors have went through a lot, and they done a lot to fight and work hard for what's theirs. So she's kind of stubborn too, just like Charlie, and Ralph Angel and the rest of them. But I hope she really lets them know what's really going on. And I really hope I hope she gets better. I really hope she does get better because I love Aunt Vi and she brings a lot to this family as far as being, a patriarch in the family. I'm sorry, a matriarch in the family. She's basically the last one that they have. So I really hope that she gets better. I hope Blue, his parents, Ralph Angel and Darla, can work things out and come to terms, about who's going to keep Blue win and how much time and everything. Because again, like I said, Ralph Angel is not his father. He is not his father. He's not the bio dad. So I don't think he should be in charge of everything and be the one to make all of the final decisions and everything. If that was my baby daddy, I would have Blue and he would be in my house. It wouldn't be no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He can have a room at your house and we can work something out and he can come, see you, spend time with you and everything. You can still stay in his life, but you're not about to tell me when my child can come to my house and how long he can come to my house. But you guys, let me know what you think about this episode. I'm looking for the next episode to find out, if Darla ends up getting into it with that lady that Ralph Angel likes, because in the episode she was like, who is that? Tell me who she is, and whatever. And so I'm looking forward to finding out, what's going to become of, who's going to have control in this situation. So y'all let me know what y'all think. Holla at me. Put your comments in the comment section. Any part of the episode that you have a comment about or thoughts about or revelations that might have came to you, let me know. Feel free to get in the comments and let me know. Hit me up. Also, you can send me a message. You can also hit me up on Twitter, Tanya's Primetime TV Media Reviews. Don't forget, I also have a Facebook group called Tanya's Primetime TV of Color, Media, and Celebrity News. All you have to do is click to join the Facebook group and you'll get a lot of reviews. And also we discuss about a lot of different shows, a lot of celebrity news in that group. I had that group for about a year now. So feel free to click on request to join that group. Also, don't forget, if you didn't like the video on your way in, like it on your way out. And subscribe to my channel. And after you click subscribe, you'll see a bell. When you see that bell, tap on it until you see the asterisk around the bell. That lets you know that from now on, you'll receive all my live video notifications as soon as I go live. Now, as usual, I want you guys to stay safe. All my Primetime squad, be blessed. Until we meet again, Miss Primetime herself is out. Deuces.